I think it's really good to work around the navel center because you find support from strength. And we also find support from strength from our family, from our friends, from maybe our work colleagues, from our inner circle and our community. But today in the practice, let's begin with finding support from the breath. So active mind, active breathing coming into your practice now. So supine semi. Begin to breathe in and let the belly rise, and let that rise draw up to the heart center and the chest and the rib cages. So begin to expand more fully on your inhalation, opening the heart. And on your exhalation, draw your rib baskets down, in and back. So feel that you can tone the midsection, but without scooping the belly, tucking the tail, or gripping your hips. So in other words, maintaining your natural spinal curves as they are apparent on the yoga mat. Remember, shoulders have melted away from the ears, arms can be draping beside you in this first instance. Breathing in fully, let the back ribs fill, let the side ribs expand, and let the belly rest. So you get that rising feeling on the inflation. And then as you exhale, allow the upper back to connect more deeply into the mat. So you're stabilizing your shoulder blades. On the exhalations, feel a wrapping sensation. Feel a hugging of the belly towards the spine, but avoiding also that scooping and that tucking and that rolling of the pelvis. So we're going to keep the buttocks, the pelvis, the feet really centered. The thighs are as relaxed at the moment as possible. And just really feel that lovely sense of actively engaging your mind to the body via the breath. If it feels easier for you this morning to connect with your palms, spread your palms like open hand palms, really feel like the webbing of the fingers open out. And as you spread the palms onto the center belly, you can connect to the breath as you inhale. Let the belly rise into the palms. And then as you exhale, feel the tone inside. So we're beginning to form that corsetry around the midsection as you exhale. And that deeper tonal exhalation lets you feel the inside belly muscles hug, support, and stabilize your spine. So you're rising and inflating on the inhalation, and on the exhalation, drawing inwards, feeling the upper abdominals work to engage the scapulae, to brace the midline, and the upper back is preventing, that strength in the upper back is preventing your shoulder blades rise. If you know Ujjayi Pranayama, you can also add the sound of the breath in your throat to help you connect a little deeper. So we've just got about 2 more rounds of breath here. Finding this connection to Manipura chakra, to your navel center. Nasal breathing throughout. But, you can breathe out through the mouth if that helps you, if you're not using Ujjayi, and that helps you. And also sensing your feelings, noticing and observing how you feel today. Gratitude for being here. And then as you fully empty on your next deep connected exhalation, weaving, hugging and drawing into that inner corset, slide your palms to your heart center in the mudra of Namaste. You are lying on your back, of course, perhaps even your eyes are closed, and maybe set an intention for your practice or even for your whole day or week ahead in your yoga. And then you may want to open your eyes and just glance at your screen. And we're going to use a moving practice now. Remember that when your center is stable and strong, your limbs are moving in a mobile way, but the joints are always also protected by that inner corseting strength. So let's begin some movement now. And even though you're lying on your back, this movement is strong, steady, and mindful. So floating knees above the hips, and you can let your lower legs, feet and ankles just shake out and be quite relaxed. And then maintain that feeling of stability, especially in the back ribs. So anchoring through, but you don't have to push and force your back into the mat, and let the top of the hips be a little bit softer. So try not to grip in the groin area as you've got your legs above your hips. And then float the arms above the shoulders, in fact reach the arms. So essentially it's like we're in all fours, but we've turned the body onto its back. So it's a little bit like our tabletop, and this is actually what this position is called, tabletop. So elongate and reach out through your right leg, and at the same time elongate and reach your left arm behind you, and just for a moment just hover in the sense of the right toes lengthening away from the left fingers. But can you notice how these center muscles just start to actively tingle as they wrap around? And then you can come back to center and notice how that feels. So now left leg is going to reach away from the body, and it might even hover just a couple of inches above the mat. Right arm reaches back to your ear, and breathe in center. Feel calm and stable, and then draw back into that midline and that first position. And clearly we're going to get longer, stronger, and maybe even faster. So you might feel naturally that you'd like to breathe in as the right toes reach away from the left fingers. And then exhale as you hug back in to that midline. So this is really an opportunity for almost a really strong breath meditation. So mind is active, body is strong and centered, and you are slowly coordinating movement with inhalation and exhalation. And of course, you don't want to be feeling in any way that your limbs are hanging off of the joints of your back. So this is where that stable center wrapping and hugging and corsetry really feels good. But because we're grounded, because the back is also supported by Mother Earth, it can be a lovely way of finding that muscular tonality, but without strain. And you can always let that foot, as it reaches away, it doesn't have to come all the way down to the earth. It can be a little bit higher into the sky if that is better for your body. So several more. Inhaling, exhaling. And then maybe a few where you just move a little bit faster. So it's a little bit playful as you just draw the toes away from the fingers and keep going with those opposites, but maybe just move now a little bit more rapidly. Don't worry too much about how this looks, but more about how it feels in your body. It's almost like you're kind of walking on the sky. Yeah, I know that the legs are extending away down to the earth and the arms are also moving. So there's almost there's a slightly mechanical feel to it, but try and have a sense of flowing those limbs away from your center. And I think this is really actually a fun movement as well. So you can be quite playful with it in your mind. And when we use variations, think of them more as explorations. Maybe not feeling that one variation is stronger than another, although that can feel the case in your body, but just that sense that you are inquiring into a different movement. So maybe we start to feel already a little bit of that fire in the belly. And then come and hug the knees into the chest. And obviously give yourself a little stir. Slide both legs away now, full body length. You may even want to interlace the fingers and turn the palms away. Reach the toes away from the clasped palms. And enjoy that sense of really opening this front channel. So you're lifting the breastbone away from the navel and the pubis. Really extending. And then circle the arms, and as you exhale, curl into Apanasana. Try and see if you can hug the feet in, reach for the toes, ankles, or your shins. You can, of course, take the feet down and just be in supine semi, reach the arms overhead, deep breath in, and enjoy the flare of the ribs. Enjoy that sense of really opening up, so not necessarily coming back at the moment to that stabilization, or full body, toes reaching away from fingers. When you're ready, circle arms, exhale, lift head, neck, shoulders, find the pose of Apanasana. You can even wrap the arms around and hug in deeply. Remember, it's really important if you're enjoying a practice focusing on the navel center that you haven't just eaten a really big meal. You want to be empty of vessel. You don't want digestion to be happening. So you're extending out, breathe in, exhale, curl. Inhale, reach away from your center, and exhale, Apanasana. And you may want to practice at least another 3 or 4 more. So enjoy full extended body, opening to spinal extension, and then curling into spinal flexion in the pose of Apanasana. Keep connecting actively to your breathing. And then returning to supine semi. Traditional classical Pavanmuktasana now. Fold your right thigh into the chest. So remember that in the supine semi position, it actually can be a lot easier to draw that thigh down onto the breastbone, the rib cage, and in towards the right shoulder, right side of the chest, or the right armpit. So this is the ascending colon that you're massaging. And allow, on your exhalation, a deep curling in, nose to knee, and of course extend out through the left heel if you like that sense of pulling the heel out of that left sit bone and engaging a little bit more into the posture. Relaxing head, neck, face and shoulders down to mat on your in-breath. Really filling the lungs, expand in all directions. Exhale, deep hug, deep curl. Breathing in, relax. Maybe again you can hold your foot. Depends how long your arms are and how your bones connect to you. And exhale, deeply curl and hug and compress. Explore, breathing in now, arms overhead. Extend and expand, and then exhale, hug muscles in, and as you curl, reach the fingers down towards the earth, but do not hold the leg in. Lovely, open overhead arms. Open your armpits, full inhale, pause, exhale, curl. Reach fingers to bottom of mat. The left heel is reaching away from the left sit bone, and draw that hip into flexion a little bit deeper. And then relax down, arms out, and let's stir that right hip. So let the right hip roll out to the right. You're also rolling your pelvis. Right knee across the body, opening out like tree pose, curl round, circle. As the right knee comes across the body, opportunity for just a little pausing floor twist. Opening out, circle, 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 and then reverse the circles for 3 and 2 and 1. Remember to breathe. Return to supine semi, feet standing, knees anchored into the correct alignment. And then fold your left thigh into your chest, body, torso. And wrap around thigh or shin or hold foot and just draw downwards. So as you draw the thigh down onto your torso, remember to draw the shoulder blades down the back and anchor using the back muscles. So finding a good connection to the support of Mother Earth. Inhale as you exhale, chin tucks, deep flexion of neck, and kiss the nose to the knee if you can, or even let the knee graze past your cheek, especially if you can also hold the foot. So we come into this really tight, squeezing compression of the descending colon. Stay here, reach the right heel away, and maybe curl and lift a little bit more if that's within your comfortable ability, and then just relax down. Settle into the breath. Inhale as you exhale, curl. Repeat a few times more, and or arms overhead as you breathe in. Full opening, and exhale, lifting, curling, but not wrapping the leg. So it just feels a little bit more intentional perhaps through the emptying of that exhale, and no straining on the neck. Because of course you're lifting that heavy head, but when your muscles in the center improve, they'll be able to support that weight, especially as the scapulae draw down. And remember, you're hugging and weaving and corseting those inner muscles in. Maybe one more breath cycle here. Right heel reaches out of right sit bone. Exhale to empty. And then place your left palm as you lay down on that left knee. And you can guide the hip circle if you wish. So guiding your femur bone inside the sea of muscles in the socket. Or lay the arms out and roll the hip and the pelvis. So rolling a little into twist and then stir, rolling across the body, left knee rolls to the right and then almost opens all the way out to a little tree pose, and then circle in the other direction for 3, 2, and 1. Hug the knees back in. You might find, like me, you've travelled down the mat, so perhaps recenter. So hugging the knees back in, Lay the arms down and then reach both legs up towards the sky and squeeze the inner thighs together. So actually internally rotate your thighs. So as you feel the thighs hugging into the midline, if you are a little tight on the hamstrings, you can just bend the knees and reach a few times more. And of course, you could always put one foot down if you need to. So coming in from semi-supine, lengthening that way. Yeah, but really we do want to try and feel the strength of the legs, the weight of those leg bones being supported by these muscles, that radiation of energy coming from the solar plexus and radiating out. So as you hug inwards, rotate the inner thighs inwards. And also there's another option, which is maybe that you take your brick or yoga block and you could place it in between your feet and ankles, your shins, or in your inner knees or thighs. So you could use the brick or block just to create a little bit more of that feeling sense of energy in the pelvic floor, the inner thighs. Yeah, so choose wisely. And then point flex the feet. And we'll energize the legs. So make sure the legs become really, really active. And remember that you're not laying down to relax. We're trying to be very active and let the strength of the practice support you. The navel center is said to help us with our feelings of ambition and willpower and also courage. And we've surely had to have a lot of courage over the last few months, of course. So rotate in, squeeze in the thighs, and then as the legs come just a little away from your body, so we're not lowering the legs, we're just letting them float a little away from the body, soften those hip creases, and again, reach the arms overhead. They can stay here, of course, shoulders down, or reach them up and overhead. They can float into sky, they don't have to land and sort of just stop moving, you know what I mean? And then feel that you can hug through that center again. So you're not trying to force your back down and tuck your pelvis. So try not to feel that you're just pushing into the lowest part of your back, but squeeze through. And then if you want to, you can draw the legs a little closer in. Notice how that feels. Inhale, and as you exhale, send the legs just a few inches away and notice how that feels. And then stack the heels exactly above your sit bones if you can. You can even push the heels up to the sky, flare out the toes. Pose of Ardha Halasana. And then curl up. And try and reach your fingers upwards towards the sky. So you're lifting the body straight up above you. Or you can even curl in a bit and try and touch the toes with the fingers. So we might lay down and reach the heels away from the fingers and then exhale and curl up. Lift. And then you can lift the opposite fingers to the opposite toes and start moving faster. And this is known as Manipurasana. And of course, you might even point your toes. And you might even flex the feet. And you're moving quite rapidly. And again, this is about really finding the upper torso rotation as you reach the toes, feet with the fingers. So it's right hand reaching to left, left to right. When you've had enough, lay back, maybe roll the head and neck side to side, but energize and squeeze the legs. And then you'll lower the legs away, maybe by a few more centimeters or inches, wrapping the inside thighs. Maybe lower than 1 more inch, squeeze and hug. Please don't go crazy on this, don't hurt yourselves. And then point the toes. As you exhale, draw them back and roll up, hug in, Paschimottanasana 2. Bend the elbows and you're laying on the mid-back. Please make sure that you don't roll over into plow. And then release back to half plow, Ardha Halasana. Or it's really like a line version of Ardha Uttanasana. So let's go again. Can you press away through your heels And just let the legs come away from your body by a few inches or centimeters. Breathe in, breathe out, feel good. And then point the feet and toes. Scoop the belly now, roll up and draw the legs up and in towards you, bending the elbows. And hug in there. One more. Exhale, legs away. Or inhale, just remember to breathe actively. Point feet and toes, energize legs. Paschimottanasana 2, or also known as Ugrasana, the noble pose. Maybe 1 or 2 more of those. Feel good. And then hug the backs of the knees and roll. Hug the backs of the knees and roll to sitting. So your toes come down. And then again with strong energy in the legs, send the arms forward, scoop under and float to boat pose. Squeeze the inner knees and thighs, maybe even take the arms up and maybe even lengthen the legs. So boat, half, maybe even sit for a moment, and of course you can flare the thighs out, a little butterfly. Take a moment's rest. Do make sure that if you're seated, you've protected the buttocks and the sacrum and the tail. And then squeeze in. Stay really calm. Arms come forward a little bit like the sides of the boat. Scoot back, maybe on your toenails, and then float your boat. Maybe reach legs longer. Maybe reach arms. Breathe, steady, and then you can let go, or you stayed a little longer and let the legs just fall open. It's really quite difficult not to grip the hips in your boat pose. So sometimes it's really nice just to come into relaxed Baddha in between, and even shake out the head and neck and have a kind of softly folded forward moment. So please find time for another boat practice. And be a little bit creative with your boat. So maybe you float one leg. So you scoop in, come onto your toenails, find the center support, and maybe you float one leg up, then one arm, and then the other leg. So you can try and find some different ways of working. You might want to cross your ankles and bring the arms up wide and outwards, almost like wings from the shoulder blades. So all the time that you're practicing, just remember to prioritize good, positive energy. Okay, let those legs go now, shake them out, and sweep round and come into all fours. And as you find your all fours, first thing you're going to do today is just let the shoulder go, let the shoulder blades draw up and down. So as you are in that all fours position with palms spreading definitively below the shoulders, drop the shoulders, let the belly dip. Not really cow pose, but just feel that sense of the shoulders dropping and then pressing up. So arms stay stable, torso drops, and then press earth away. Drop the torso, press the earth away. So it's like your trunk is moving up and down. It's a great way to mobilize the scapulae, and then level off, and then roll the lower structures. So rolling the pelvis up and down. So pretty soon we'll join the crown to the tail. So as you exhale now, press away, scoop the belly in, rounded cat pose. And stay here for a moment. Maybe breathe out through the mouth. Tuck the chin, look into the belly. And then, of course, traditionally on the in-breath, we would let the belly soften, dip, and the scapulae draw down towards that rising tail. Let your tail flow up and down like a happy cat. And what we're going to do now is press up into down face dog on the inhale. So curl toes, push the balls of the feet in, pressing up on that in-breath. And on the exhale, reach the heels back and down. This might be a shorter down face dog than you traditionally enjoy, but we'll just stay with it for a moment. So one whole round of breath, and then as you come back down, breathing in, heart shines forward, roll the shoulders back, tail wags, and on the exhale, cat pose, rounding, 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 scooping, letting the weight of the head go down, into the heart center as the gaze comes in. And then breathing in, rise the hips. And exhaling, inner thighs are strong and press out through the heels. And of course you can stay here in your down face dog and even start to pedal the legs, or keep moving between your all fours, cat cow or Marjari Asana, getting that lovely feeling of articulation in the spine and then radiating out and up into the down face dog. Allow transition to child's pose so that you begin to elongate and reach the heels of the hands away from the buttocks and the thighs, buttocks reaching away from the fingernails and pressing onto the feet. And then rise back into down face dog when you're ready. So now it becomes slightly longer dog, maybe better for you. Bring the inner thighs together, rotate inwards, heels join. And then scoop belly, look into your heart and navel and round your spine and walk out into plank. So maybe you don't need to walk out, but you get the drift. You've got to really press the earth away. And then walk your hands slightly a hand forward and walk your feet out of the mat. So you kind of spread out in a wider plank feel, but keep the energy strong. Walk the hands back, walk the feet back, find regular plank, and then scoop up again, rise the hips, and of course walk the feet and legs, adjusting as you move through to your regular Ardha Mukha Svanasana. So try again to radiate from that center. Hollow exhale, scoop into regular plank, Kumbhakasana, but then step the hands and feet almost X-shaped. Push the earth away, walk a little bit further, the hands forward. Feel that slight extra demand of strength required. Balancing your energies, and then walk it back. And of course, resting or driving those hips up, pressing out, elongating the hamstrings into down face dog. And then sweep again, feet together as the right leg floats and glides up towards the sky. Press the left heel back and down. And then as you fold the right knee into the chest, this is like a Pavanmuktasana moving. You're going to try and hug that thigh right up onto the ascending colon. Come into plank and then rotate and bring the right knee to try and touch your left elbow. Push the earth away, breathe, smile, and slide out again. Inhale, inhale, reach. Exhale, hug, scoop, and twist. Right knee to your left elbow over. And again, press and extend. Exhale, scoop and twist. Hug and press. Of course, dog or child's pose. So good resting breath in between. And then center your body. Align with grace and poise and extend out through your left foot. Hug that left thigh in on the exhale. Really scoop and hover. And then twist. Left knee to right elbow. Push the earth away. And then two more. Inhale and spread out. Really command that center courage. Your left knee comes to that right elbow. And completing with one more. And then resting into kneeling pose or pose of child balasana. And as you rest the wrists, and maybe rest the arms, find that your breath is steady and soothing, embracing your practice so far. So when we have this beautiful support from our strong center, actually the joints are kind of harnessed, but you then can find safe mobility and flexibility. So from a place of stability, our flexibility can grow in very safe ways. So now return to down face dog. Soften face, soften neck, enjoy. Squeeze heels together, internal rotation of thighs, hug in and return to Kumbhakasana plank, push earth away, full empty vessel. And then draw heart forward and then slide heels back. So swaying plank, heart forward, heels back. And you can go faster if necessary, but you are not sagging that pelvis. So keeping the hips in line with your armpits. You're rolling over the toenails as well, if you can, going right onto the tippy toes. When you're ready, heart forward, bend the elbows, lower into the earth, legs extend. And as you reach through your crown, setting the pelvis really evenly on the earth, reach your arms back, fingers towards the feet, ankles and toes. And float the upper body. Breathe in, breathe out, lengthen and lower. Fingers reach down towards your heels, ankles and toes. Press the feet in and the strengthening now coming into the back, upper and mid back core. And then breathe, lengthen and lower. Slow, controlled meditation on the breath. And you might want 4 of these or 5. So just keep moving in tune with your practice so that you're finding this positive conditioning of the muscles, more importantly, the conditioning of your mind. So this really deep strengthening of your concentration. Now clear the thighs. So as you lift the legs away, of course find that the thighs clear away from the mat, but it's still quite low to mat. And sweep. So fingers reaching towards the feet again. Lift the chest quite low. Center line is strong. Muscles hugging. Pelvis is level. And then sweep your left arm forward and round in a half circle. Left arm comes towards your ear if possible and reaches forward. And then raise your left fingers and right toes just a little higher. And sweep it back. Staying connected. Right arm reaches round to the right ear. Stay here or reach the left leg a little higher. Feel the connections and sweep back. Left arm forward. And really releasing, but feeling good breath. Right arm sweeps forward. Left toes away from right fingers. Sweeping back. And maybe even both forward. Everything lifting a little higher, but not the face. And sweeping down. And take a rest, forehead on the mat. Just wiggle your hips side to side. And then press the hands under the shoulders. Rise back, possibly to all fours. In child's pose, we'll come back into plank and down face dog. So resting in pose of Balasana. Pressing the earth away in down dog, and then everybody coming into dog, and then walking into your forward fold. Correcting, adjusting your feet, coming forward into the balls of the feet, possibly soften the knees, and then find ragdoll. And it's a standing version of pose of child, so enjoy that compression, and again that belly connection onto your thighs, and let the belly rise and fall a few times more, enjoying that soft belly breathing. So a couple more rounds of breath in standing Balasana. And then ripple out to stand. And finding mountain Tadasana. And your mountain. Squeeze those legs together. Feet spreading, ankles joined, inner thighs connected as best you can. So feel that sense of two legs becoming one leg. Spread the palms. Inhale and salute the sun. Radiate from that solar plexus. As you exhale, Utkatasana. So sit back. Arms may of course stay elevated by your ears. Pull through the navel enough, and try not to just bust those ribs out. So crest of ribs drawing in, heavy length on the tail. Inhale, exhale, circle the arms. Maybe bring them into prayerful. And as you gaze to the fingertips or to the Mother Earth, or perhaps your gaze is forward because you might be in a higher Utkatasana, depending on how your chair pose feels. Reset or remember your intention for your practice today. Sweep your arms, inhale, Utkatasana, arms overhead. Exhale, circle, power, strength and concentration. And then rise on the next inhale. And as you rise on the next inhale, as you exhale, let the right thigh draw up into your body. Balance and hug. Standing, Pavanuktasana, flex out the foot. And reach the arms and push the heel away from you. Fold and release. Inhale, salute the sun. Expand in all directions. Full inhalation, full length, back bend. And as you exhale, centering, Utkatasana. Inhale, exhale here. Possibly join the palms together, maybe even interlace. What would challenge you? What courage do you need here? What willpower do you need to remain in this fierce pose? If shoulders are tender, draw the arms into namaste, or even reach the palms forward. Palms facing up. In Shunya Mudra, a gesture of open mind, open body, open reception. Maybe challenge to sit deeper. Remember to breathe. Inhale now as you rise. Mounting Urdhva Hasta. Exhale, left thigh draws into chest. Hold back thigh, front shin, hug. Possibly flex the left heel. Shoulders down the back. Steady breathing. And then push that heel away. Try and keep the leg raised. You might want these open arms, inner thighs strong. And then forward. And release. And give yourself a little wiggle. Samasthiti, feet joined together or have a little gap between the feet. Interlace fingers. Draw the arms overhead. Sandwich the ears between those upper arms. Centered body. Eyes to the horizon. Triaka Tadasana. Reach to the top corner of the room. And flow again with grace, respect, always honoring your body. What I really love about Hatha Yoga is it allows time for that to happen. So as you breathe and sway, continue for perhaps another 6 rounds of breath. Be in no doubt about the harmfulness of forcing and straining. So let that good positive energy radiate from within your wisdom. Manipura is translated often as the lustrous gem of the city. So if we think about this area, the gut area, not just as this beautiful symbol of the sun, of Surya, and the solar plexus, but also of this lustrous gem. And you want that area to grow and evolve in really, really healthy ways. And that includes, of course, your good nutrition. So maybe you're just coming to the final side bend, side opening in that Tiryaka Tadasana. Maybe you've also got the ability to let the opposite hip just glide into the lateral corner of the room so that you get just a little feeling different there. And then unlace the arms and circle the arms. Circle again. Inwards and outwards. Maybe you can go super fast. Just again, don't harm your shoulders. But get into that lovely nourishment of the shoulders. And of course, remember, you may also be moving slower and into some singles. What I love about the singles, it involves that sense of rotation. Okay, we're coming to the top of the mat. And we're going to use plank and side planks. So, find your center, Mountain Tadasana or Samasthiti, palms spreading beside the thighs. Inhale and salute the sun. And center, exhale, Uttanasana or easy fold. Step back to plank, squeeze inner thighs, push earth away. And then tip onto your right outer edge of the foot. But by the way, slight extra caution might mean that you want to spread your right palm, half the palm forward. Have the left toes in front, like a scissor action, or step the left foot in line with your navel center. But remember to lift up your hips, powerfully strong. Or go immediately into Vashisthasana classical, stacking the legs. The center is well contained. And bring the left arm over the ear if you wish. Shine the heart. Press the earth away. Stabilize. Circle the arm. Inhale, exhale. Lift the arm parallel to the opposite wrist. Or circle the arm. Or maybe bring the arm by the ear. Lift the hips a little higher if you can. And then left hand on the left hip. Turn the body slightly and step the left foot forward. Pivot into high lunge. You may have to adjust so that the left ankle comes below the left knee. Slide the right knee down. And then hug that left thigh in. Turn left, take the right upper arm over the left thigh, and deep rotation. So again, we have this added benefit today of the nourishment of the digestion centers as you squeeze body to thigh. One more round of breath. Come back to center, frame your left foot, step forward. Uttanasana. Salute the sun. Circle the arms back. Press the fingers back towards the heels or interlace. And open your chest. Feel good. Second plank. Second side plank. Upward salute. Deep inhale, expand. Exhale, easy fold, soften knees. Drishti on the nose tip. Or use this opportunity to deepen your Uttanasana and really get that body connected to your thighs. Stepping back to plank. Hug up through the midline. Pause and breathe. Knee down version is an option. Left hand, possibly half a hand forward. And possibly scissor the legs. Or move into your stack. So clear classical Vashisthasana. Arm can sweep forward, up and over. Or big circles, but remember you are breathing and finding this beautiful strength and stability. Push your way through the earth. Scapulae draw down the back. Midline is toned. Other option is to raise your top leg. So you can float or push your top leg away from your bottom leg. When you're ready, slightly coming back to plank and step that right foot forward into lunge, or with that right leg hovering, it drives through to the lunge from the side plank. Left knee down into low plank, into low lunge, Ashwasanchalasana, and then lift the torso. Namaste, and rotate, upper arm across the thigh, squeeze and turn. Hug, and then if you wish to, you can move into lifting the back knee. So you lift the back knee really low. It just feels like another invitation for balance. Hugging, 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 and breathing. And of course you can lift that hip a little bit higher if it feels better for you. Strong, powerful legs. Flexibility from that strong center, fingers down, frame the top foot. Step forward. Inhale, exhale. Uttanasana. Separate the feet. Bend the knees. Balasana standing. Shake out the head and neck. And then release back to sitting. And once again, find your block to sit on, or maybe your folded blanket. So you are protecting that delicate tailbone and sacrum area. I'm going to re-practice boat pose. So find that as you little bit tuck under, you reach and squeeze the legs to center, but bring your palms into the heart and then twist. So turn right or left, squeeze, hold and twist. And center, and then twist the other way. Remember, as you twist and turn, you're going to also maintain a natural rhythm of your breathing. After the next one, bring your feet to mat. Hug the thighs in quite tightly if that's okay for you. Squeeze again the inner legs. And rotate with that upper arm across the thigh. Right arm behind you, I'm turning right. And again, finding that the twisting is driving up into the thoracic area. I can stay here or reach the left leg long and transition to Ardha Matsyendrasana. And then coming back, maybe just again flare the legs apart. And a little moment of soft, seated Baddha Konasana. So then relax into those inner thighs and groins. And then repeating your twist with the knees hugging in tight, so a little bit like Pasasana, the noose pose, turning left arm behind you, right upper arm over the thigh, or coming into a version of Ardha Matsyendrasana, Marishyasana. So seated twist, sit tall on the in-breath, rotate more on the out-breath. Releasing to Baddha Konasana. You might want to choose to leave the hips open as you come to supine, but I would also suggest that you always try to come down to your Shavasana without using your arms. So this last moment of deeply engaging breath, body, active mind, active breath, active body. Arms forward. Curl in and down. And as you scoop and curl, pause. It's almost like yoga canoe pose. It's like Nurkasana, the low version of boat. And then lowering again. And you can take your time with that. And then, of course, find your Shavasana as you lay your legs out. But some of you might also feel very desirous of Supta Baddha Konasana. And that might be your choice for the